Alrighty, so I've explained the process by which I am making my phaser recipe presets. Now I wanted to go explain how I'm updating show files that are using this workflow. As I expressed in the first video of this series, I am not using a recipe-only workflow, meaning that every value of every queue is not being generated from a recipe line. I am storing values into queues in the style that you would in MA2. However, I see the obvious value. I love the flexibility that recipes provide, that I can be in a festival that has 8 profiles on a truss one day and another that has 14 the next day, and still have my, for example, center out selection order on a dimmer preset look correct. And I don't want to give that up in the process of trying to streamline my workflow. So I haven't given that up, and I'm going to show you how I am updating this workflow to still make use out of recipes without needing to store everything in every queue as a recipe. Now this process is going to make use both of cloning and of, it's going to require use of a plugin. And there are a few plugins that do this. I am using the MA Tools Recipe Tools plugin for the purpose of recipe cloning, basically copying a recipe line anywhere a certain item is used, in this case a group, and then in that copy of the line replacing one group with another group. Again, there are a few tools out there. MA Tools is not sponsoring me. They don't know I'm making this video. Of the products I've tried, their plugin I really like. So I'm going to show you what the update process is going to be. So we're going to treat our lyras, our downstage flown profiles, as our source fixtures, and we're going to treat the upstage floor MAC1s as our festival fixtures in this case. So I'm just going to build our dimmer effect. We'll just do a ramp effect going center out. We will create our phaser preset out of that. Give it a name. So if I call this up, we'll see that our phaser starts. I'm going to store that into a sequence. We're going to run the sequence. Great, everything is running. Now, when we're done, I want what's happening on the lyras to be happening correctly on the MAC1s in the back. So let's get to cloning. So I'll show you what's going on in this clone macro. I've got 2 clone macros. First, we're going to clone our values in the way that we would in MA2. And this process, it's just, the first line is just an appearance thing for whatever the last group I cloned was. That's just to help me keep track of what I've already cloned and what I haven't. We're setting this tracks the first group I tap, we're cloning from. Second group I tap is what we're cloning to. And then it's going to clone all presets, low priority, so that it's only adding information if the information doesn't already exist. I tried using the dependencies system so that I would just be cloning the sequence and it would just push information into presets as needed. However, that also pushes information into groups as is not needed, and locking the groups prevents it from doing that at all. So we're doing this now, and I will be submitting a request that dependencies can be separated into maybe groups and presets or something a little more granular. Anyway, my spiel aside, we're cloning all presets, and then we're going to clone all sequences. And then it just does some scribbles to show what was cloned. So I'm going to clone from my lyras to my MAC1 beams. And if we go check out what's going on, so we see that if I grab the MAC1 beams and go into solo, we can see they are doing the dimmer effect. The first 12 are doing what the 12 lyras were doing, and then it repeats. So we want to get rid of that repeat and have it be a clean, dimmer effect. They are currently in this effect. However, they're just using cloned data of the cooked values that the lyras produced. If we go into this preset, we see that the MAC1s don't have a recipe line. They're just values stored into their hard values stored into the preset. So that is where the recipe tools plugin is going to come in. I don't know why I keep these around. And it's using the search and clone function as I described. It's going to copy your recipe line and put a new group into it. So we're going to do, in this case, we can use the exact same groups. I'm going to, anywhere the Lyra group is used, I'm going to make a copy and use the Mac1's group. And it'll do its magic. I'm just going to do a recook, which is going to cook all presets and sequences. And when I come back, we see that the effect is running as it was intended. If I go into this, we see that the Mac1s now have their own recipe line. And I could even go back and do the same thing with the brain fart with the tornadoes. So I could even do it in reverse order. Let's say I just want to push the recipe into the preset. So right now there's no output from the tornadoes if I go into solo, but if I double click this phaser, we see that the tornadoes now live in it because that recipe line got cloned. So then I can go back. I don't know why I would do it in this order, but I can. And I can clone values from the Lyras to the tornado cells, and we see that they are doing what we want. They are, well, I don't know if that's what we want, but they're doing what we told it, meaning we have a center out effect going that was just on our Lyras, and now it is working the same on from the 12 fixtures it started to 16 on the floor to, I don't know how many fixtures is this, where's my grid, to 80 fixtures on the tornadoes. So that is the update process I'm using. It is just as a recap, it is a combination of both cloning and what I'm calling recipe cloning. I think that seems like a sensible term for it. And I find this to be a workflow that is going efficiently. So yeah, hopefully that helps some people out there that maybe don't want to be committed to a recipes only workflow, that still want the power that recipes do provide to what you can do with a show file. So hope it helps, guys. Happy programming.